What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another episode of the Premier League Spur-Spective, where we're going to have a look at the weekend's games, react to them, and also see how well we're doing on our predictions. As it stands, I am winning 22-15. Sim, you still thinking you're going to get back in this one?
Of course. Well, in reality, you're only ahead because of two perfect results. Other than that, I'm ahead, I think. So,
well, in reality, I'm only ahead because I'm ahead. Yeah, you're right.
Because two perfect results. I'm better at predicting results. You're better at you.
Well, you say that, but we'll see how we get on this week. We'll see.
I don't even know how
I
got on this week. I can't remember.
All right. Well, let's get straight into it. Let's start off with the first game on the weekend, which was Arsenal against Aston Villa at Villa Park. It finished 1-0 to Aston Villa. Our predictions were, I said 2-1 to Aston Villa. You said 3-1 to Aston Villa. So we're both gaining a point there. So it is 22-16 or 23-16. What did you make out of the game?
Yeah, I thought Villa deserved the victory in the end. I know Arsenal had a lot of possession and all this kind of stuff, but they didn't really create any chances. As if anyone looked like they were going to score the second goal of the game, looked like it was going to be Aston Villa for me. Matt Ryan was more heavily tested than Martinez for sure. The only chances, really, they had a couple of chances, one from Odegaard and one from Pepe, but other than that, they didn't really do anything, Arsenal. Maybe they might have had a penalty when Martinez drags Lacazette down, but I think Lacazette also has hold of him as well, so it wasn't quite as obvious as other people making out. And yeah, look, it was good for them to get back to losing ways. I'm enjoying that. Yeah,
back-to-back losses now for Arsenal, and I thought they deserved the loss. They really did. I thought they were highly unimpressive, lack of movement. And yeah, I'm just happy with the way Arsenal played on the weekend, really.
Yeah, look, I don't think
step in the right direction.
They weren't awful, but I think people saying, you know, how that they dominated and played well and deserved something. I didn't see that. Like, they conceded early doors after a horrible mistake from Cedric, and they didn't do enough to really get back in the game for me.
Agreed. Let's move on to Burnley Brighton. It finished 1-1. I said 0-0. You said 1-0 to Brighton, so I gain another point on you. Come on.
It's close.
24-16. Did you watch any of this game?
Nah. I didn't see but I know it was 1-0 Brighton up until I think in the second half, and then Burnley got it back. I think Burnley could have even nicked it in the end after if they had a few chances and they had a VAR rule out for offside, which they were unhappy about. But I think it's probably a good point for both teams getting that point. Neither team looks like neither of them are going to be dragged into relegation battle, as it seems. So it's a good point for both of them.
Newcastle Southampton finished 3-2 to Newcastle. I went 2-0 Southampton. You also went 2-0 Southampton. So we got this one horribly wrong. What did you make out of this one?
Yeah, Newcastle definitely deserved it. They were on song. It looks like Southampton are very short confidence at the moment. Say Maximan was running riot down their left-hand side.
Newcastle really turned the switch, haven't they, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, since they've started going forward a bit more, they seem to be getting a lot more joy. And especially, say Maximan is such a big player for them. I'm a really big fan of, say, Maximan. And he got the assist for Willock's goal straight away. Almiron getting a couple of goals as well. One deflection and one after a bad mistake.
Great goal from Minamino as well on his debut for Southampton.
Yeah, and they'll probably be annoyed that they let this one slip. And late in the game, they were playing against 9 men. For 15 minutes, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't even fashion a chance. So they'll be very disappointed with that. And Hassan Hutel, after a 9-0 drubbing, this is not what he wanted. But yeah, really good for Newcastle. It looks like they're going to be safe now.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it seems as though the bottom three, the writing's kind of on the wall for them, all of them at the moment.
Unless one of them goes on a mad run, I can't see it turning around at the moment.
The next one is Fulham, West Ham, London derby at Craven Cottage, finished 0-0. I went 2-1 West Ham. You also went 2-1 West Ham. And finally, West Ham didn't win a game.
Yeah, they dropped points. Fulham, I thought fully deserved, but this was marred by that horrible decision from Mike Dean at the end of the game to send off Soucek,
which got rescinded quite quickly.
Got rescinded the next couple of days later. I don't understand what Mike Dean was thinking. It was clearly an accident on Soucek's part. Anyone with half a brain could see he was just maneuvering his arm to move away from Mitrovic, and I thought the VAR referee was at fault here for making Mike Dean go to the screen, and Mike Dean was at fault for looking at it 20 times and getting the wrong decision. That's the second time in a week he's done that. So I think It was rightly overturned, and VAR really annoys me because it was not VAR. It's the referees. It's the referees. The incident had nothing to do with VAR. Nothing to do with VAR. It was the referees being completely incompetent in their jobs. Completely. If you can see that, and you're forcing the referee to make a decision, you're saying, oh, he's got a clenched fist and all this rubbish when he didn't even have a clenched fist. I mean, it's ridiculous refereeing decisions.
Am I right in saying Mike Dean's pulled himself out of Premier League action next weekend?
He has. That's wrong. It's wrong that he's received death threats and he's received all this abuse and his family and everything. And obviously, I completely condemn that. That shouldn't be happening to anyone, even if they're making a wrong decision. And the fact that he has to pull out of Premier League football this weekend is horrible. But
I mean, he should.
There's no but.
I mean,
to that,
he should be getting pulled off of Premier League action
anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, regardless of these death threats. I mean, death threats obviously not on, and no one likes to see that, and it shouldn't be happening. But Mike Dean should be off Premier League action. That's the facts of the matter.
Yeah, he should have been pulled off anyway because of his decision making. But you don't like to see any of this rubbish from people sending him death threats. I mean, it's just a game of football and it's just a bad decision. You don't have to. It wasn't even that costly. It was in the 94th minute when the game was over anyway. So, like, you can't sit here and say he cost anyone the game. But so that's completely wrong when people are just taking it way too far. Way too far.
The game of the day on Saturday was Man U Everton, finished 3-3. We both predicted 1-1, so it's 25-17 now. What a game of football this was.
Yeah, unbelievable. We thought Everton were dead and buried at half-time when United took a 2-0 lead. Everton came back into it with our two quick-fire goals from James and Decore. It looks like United had won it in the 75th or 80th minute when McTominay had a Rob Olsen. What an awful mistake that was, completely slipping. And,
I hope he plays against us. Well, I mean, I don't mind Pickford or him, to be honest.
Yeah, he's completely slipped, allowing that header to slip through his hands. And then literally the last kick of the game, once Ransom Bands were fist pumping with Saeed to claim victory, they conceded the last kick of the game, and it was a beautiful sight. And it was horrible defending for that last free kick.
Harry Maguire's got to take a long look at himself. For 75 million, you can't hold a offside line in the 95th minute. Like, what are you thinking?
Poor, really poor. He's way too deep, playing everyone onside, and Calvert-Lewin steals in. But you got to say, what a goal from Bruno though in that first half. Really special strike, and he's turning in performance after performance. And he's getting just crucial goals for them. And you got to say as well, Cavani's turning out to be a real good signing for them.
I always thought he was going to be a good signing.
Yeah, so did I.
Cavani.
I said that at the beginning.
I mean, I don't understand how he couldn't work. This guy is a top quality striker. Yeah, age ain't on his side, but he hasn't lost it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let's move on. Spurs against West Brom obviously finished 2-0 to Spurs. We both went 1-0 to Spurs, so that makes it 26-18. I think we covered that game enough.
Yeah,
so
let's
move on. Wolves against Leicester, which finished 0-0. I went 2-2, so I gained a point there. You went 1-0 to Wolves.
Yeah.
27-18 to me now. What did you make out of that game?
I thought it was a dull game. I thought Leicester they had Vardy back, but they didn't really test Wolves that much.
At the end, Jamie Vardy, didn't he?
Nearly, with that header. Big chance right at the end. But other than that, they didn't really do much. But you always felt like Leicester were kind of the better team. Wolves also didn't threaten Kasper Schmeichel, apart from a couple of times. It was a pretty dull game against two sides who are pretty solid defensively, I feel. And I think they'll both each take a point.
Liverpool Man City, the game of the day on the Sunday. 4-1 to Man City at Anfield. Yeah. Alisson, Blunderland. What happened to Alisson in that game? He had 5-6 minutes of madness.
Absolutely shambolic from Alisson. I've never seen a keeper give the ball away so often. And also, you'd think once he does the first one, he just puts the second one into the stands, but he just tries to keep playing out from the back, and it was ridiculous. It wasn't even close to a Liverpool body. That's the thing. It was horrendous, and I think he committed more mistakes in that game than Lloris has since lockdown.
He's committed more mistakes in that game than he's done his whole Liverpool career, probably.
Yeah, and it was really, really shocking from Alisson. You can see, I think it was just you got to put that down to just an off day for him, because he's obviously not usually like that. But how bad was that?
He's probably the best goalkeeper in Europe at the moment.
Yeah, but be committing mistakes like that's horrendous. Really, really costing Liverpool badly. I thought Gundogan is turning into one of the best false nines in the league at the moment. Every time he plays there, he seems to be getting a couple of goals. It's unbelievable. But one man who really stepped up and came into his own is Phil Foden, who I really thought...
what a goal, what a player.
Yeah, he's really becoming that player that everyone thought he was going to be now. He was showing it in flits and spurts before in his cameos, but I think that he really came of age against Liverpool. He really became that player that we expected him to be. And
he's got a mad record against the classic top six as well, which is actually mad to see. I can't remember the actual stats off the top of my head, but really are. Phil Foden. I mean, England have got some mad options for the Euros this summer.
Yeah, he's got to be a shoo-in for the England squad at the moment, the way he's playing. And he really is looking to fill in those boots that David Silva left. And he's doing a great
Gundogan's
job.
filling those boots at the moment.
Yeah, well, Gundogan's playing false nine. I mean,
yeah,
he's
I think
filling Aguero's boots here.
Yeah, I mean, Aguero's going to be back soon. De Bruyne is going to be back soon, so it'll be interesting to where they fit all these players in.
Well, it's a good problem for them to have, isn't it? And they're walking the league now. 5 points clear with the game in hand from second place.
4-1 away at the champions.
I mean, I know Liverpool will feel like before the mistakes that were in the game, but Man City were the better side, no doubt about it. And the only goal they did get was I know it was probably a penalty, but it was definitely an exaggerated fall from Salah, to say the least, to get that penalty. So, the Liverpool 3 home losses in a row now.
Do you think if he doesn't exaggerate that, he still gives the pen?
Probably not. He probably needs to win the penalty, to be fair, but it was definitely an exaggerated dive. 3 home losses in a row for Liverpool now, which is after going so long unbeaten, they're in a real right at Anfield.
They are. And I went 1-0 to City in this game. You went 2-1 to City. So it's 28-19 to me with 2 games left to play. Let's move on to Sheffield United Chelsea, which finished 2-1 to Chelsea. I went 2-0 Chelsea. You went 2-0 Chelsea. So that leaves us on 29-20.
Yeah, it was a closer game then.
Yeah, I actually fell asleep during this game. I find watching Chelsea so boring at the moment. Yeah. I can't watch 2 boring teams in Tottenham and Chelsea all in the same day.
Werner had a good game this one. Yeah, got 2 assists, really good assists for Mason Mount, really great goal as well. Very reminiscent of like Frank Lampard's late runs in the box that was from Mason Mount, and a really good finish as well. He really turned on the style. They got the equaliser, Sheffield United, which is a deserved equaliser, I felt, because I thought they played quite well. And but it was from Rudiger, complete mishap with Mendy. One of those like Trippier against Chelsea a few years ago. Keeper comes out, the defender doesn't notice and tried to pass it back to the keeper, and it goes in the back of the net. Awful mix-up, but it only lasted about a minute because Werner goes strong goal, gets fouled by the keeper, wins a penalty, and they go on to win the game 2-1. It was a close affair. Sheffield United feel hard done by. Another good performance, and they're in decent form at the moment. But Chelsea run out winners.
Yeah,
that's 3 wins and 4 for Tuchel now.
Yeah, and all boring games, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the last game of the weekend. Was last night, Monday night. Leeds at home to Crystal Palace, 2-0 to Leeds. I went 3-2 to Leeds. You went 2-2. So we end off with a 10-point gap, people. 30 points to me, 20 points to Sim. What do you have to say about that?
It's just those 2 results you got. Perfect scores. That was it.
You can't blame me for being good at picking perfect results.
Perfect scores are lucky. The skill is
can't blame me for being perfect results.
The skill is in the scorelines.
And the scoreline.
And also, I made that prediction on Leeds when I thought Zaha was going to be available. If I knew Zaha was out, I would have predicted something different. I would say that.
So you predicted 5 correct scorelines this week. I predicted 7 correct scorelines this week. What did you have to say to that one?
Well, I predicted 2 more than you last week. So
yeah, but you're 10 points behind.
Yeah, well, look, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to go. 2 perfect results, and I'm back in it. So it's a long way to go.
Let's talk about the game, because I thought Leeds were really good. They were really good. They came out, they stamped their authority early in the game with that early goal, and I was so impressed with Rafinha last night.
Yeah, he was class.
What a baller. And I'm telling you, I would take him on that right wing slot for Spurs.
I don't know what Hodgson was doing, though, in the first half. He was playing Van Aanholt in like right-sided midfield, centre mid or something. I don't know what he was doing. He did end up switching at half-time, which was expected because it just wasn't working. I thought he didn't get Eze involved anywhere near enough. He was playing out wide. He was very isolated. He played this striker up front who was completely looked out of his depth a bit. I know it was his debut, but didn't do it at all. Jordan Ayew was absolutely horrific as well. But yeah, Leeds, you know what you're going to get with Leeds. So you count good high pressing attacking football, and look, you got to say they're pretty much mathematically safe now, aren't they? Back above Arsenal, which is where they belong. And I think Leeds, you got to say, for all the good football, they're doing a good job in the league as well. So you can't knock them for the way they've approached the Premier League. I think it's the right way to do it, and they deserve to be where they are at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Bielsa.
Bamford with another goal as well. Yeah.
Bamford with another goal. He did miss a couple of chances during the game. But look, it just brings me back on Rafinha, because I was just like blown away by that performance yesterday. The amount of chances.
That nutmeg on Cahill.
The amount of chances he was creating, the skills he was showing. I mean, this guy, he's a special talent. He really is. And did you hear Bamford's interview after the game?
No.
He goes, I'm surprised that one of the bigger teams haven't picked up Bamford yet, because we picked him up for not that much money, and I think one of the big teams will take a punt on him now. And I was thinking, Bielsa's not going to be happy with you saying this.
Yeah, probably. That's a bit of a weird thing.
He was literally touting him out to all the big clubs in his post-match interview after the game.
Strange. That is very strange. But look, he's a good player, isn't he, Rafinha? So he's one to watch. Definitely a young Brazilian winger. He's doing bits and pieces. But Leeds now, 1 point above Arsenal with a game in hand.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a gap now starting to turn between the top half and the bottom half of the league. You've got Arsenal on 31 points and Leeds on 32 in 10th and 11th.
Arsenal, away, when if they want to catch up to the top six, they're 4 points away from Villa, who have 2 games in hand. They're 5 points away from us, and we have a game in hand. And they're 6 points away from Everton, who have 2 games in hand on them. So
yeah, that was literally what I was about to say. And Arsenal have got some hard fixtures coming up. They got a massive game against Leeds this weekend.
Yes. Oh God! If they don't beat Leeds,
and then after Leeds, they've got like Man City, they've got us, they've got a few other teams as well. So,
and they're only what's it called? 2 points away from 13th.
Yeah, and look, if you look at their fixtures, they've got Leeds, Man City, Leicester, Burnley away than us. So
resurgence.
Watch this space.
I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. Hopefully Leeds can do a job on them the weekend.
All right, so there you have it.
On the weekend. We shouldn't celebrate too much.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I haven't messaged any Arsenal fans yet. Anyway, look. That is the end of our Premier League perspective. Let me know in the comment section below who you think is going to end up coming on top, with myself having a 10-point buffer at the top.
Spurs love to blow
I'm a
Leeds,
bit smug about it.
They love to blow Leeds Spurs, so
yeah,
I wouldn't get too excited.
They do. But look, let's see how this one plays out. That is the Premier League's perspective. That is what we thought about the weekend game. Let me know what your thoughts were on the weekend's game. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, Spurs.